Saturday is almost upon us. It's quite a weekend of rugby we've got in store. The first one before the Rugby Championship games kick off is Fiji coming over here to New Zealand to play the Māori All Blacks in Rotorua. And after last week's performance, the Māori All Blacks will certainly have, pretty big reason to want to get a win, because last week was 27-10. If you watched that game, you would have seen it could have been worse. The Māori All Blacks kind of got a couple of late tries to make the score look a little bit more respectable, but to be fair, in that first half alone, Fiji could have had the game dead and buried. So it was an impressive performance from Fiji, and I guess with the World Cup in mind, they have also made a lot of changes. I will go over both the teams. I'll put the teams in the description so you can have a look. I'm probably going to butcher some of the Fijian guys' names because the pronunciation in that department is not good. Thank you guys who helped out with the last video for a couple of corrections. That is always much appreciated. So I'll start with the Māori All Blacks because they are the home team for this one. Some people have suggested the weather may have been a factor in last week's loss. I'm not sure. I didn't actually read up on the weather report. Some people said Suva wasn't actually that hot at that time, so it probably wasn't a factor. Whoever was there locally will be able to give a bit more clarity on that, but it's not going to be hot in Rotorua, that's for sure. Start with the Māori All Blacks. They have kept the same 23, but made a whole bunch of changes. So the front row is the same, but Paripari Parkinson moves into lock from the bench. So Isaia Walker-Leawere has to move to the bench from the starting lineup. Whetu Douglas also comes in at number 8, and Akira Ioane moves to the bench. He was a guy who probably needed a big game last week if he's got those All Blacks aspirations. Didn't get the job done, so he is on the pine this week, so it's Whetu Douglas starting. Those are the only changes in the forwards. For the backs, though, Bryn gets a start at number 9, so Toiroa Tahuriorangi is on the bench. Nankivell comes into number 12. That means Tay Walden has to move to the bench. Jordan Hyland comes in on the right wing. Shaun Stevenson moves to fullback, and that means Fletcher Smith is on the bench. So, same team, just a different lineup about it. For the Fijians, they have made a whole bunch of changes, and as I said, it is kind of one eye on the World Cup. And when you start to look at some of the depth that they've got, the prospects of them getting out of that pool in the World Cup look more and more likely. So they got a whole new front row with Ma'afu, Vunga Koto, and Atalifo in the front row. So I know Ma'afu has been around the Premiership for Yonks. I believe Kota played for the Drua. I think he's pretty young for a hooker. They've brought Ratuva into the second row. He plays over in France. They've brought in Voka at number 7. Also, I think a guy from the Drua. Nagutha. Is it Nagusa or Nagutha? Please tell me. I've seen him playing for Newcastle. He's in at number 8. New number 9 in. And Seniloli. He's been kept by Fiji before. Also, the fullback from last week who had a pretty outstanding game, scored a try. That's Vetokani. He moves into number 10. They did mention during that game last week that he kind of plays 15 and 10, and there was an eye to get him into 10, so he's got his chance here. Vola is not even in the squad, so he's being, I guess, rested, so it's good, I guess, to spread those minutes around. So Vetokani's in at 10. Vatubua is in at 12, and Muri Muivalu from La Rochelle is in at fullback. He's 30 years old, so a bit of a veteran as well. So there's a fair few changes there. Patrick Osborne was on the bench last week. He gets a start. Nayathalevu, who scored 2 tries last week, still continues on at number 13, so he's danger man. Big names like, Vili Mata and Nakarawa, they're not on the squad, so they're being rested. Still no signs of Semi Radradra. He's injured from what I last heard, so it's a pretty good looking Fiji team. When you look at how many of these guys play in Europe, how many of them play for the Drua, equally these Māori All Blacks guys, some of them are kind of Mitre 10, some of them are Super Rugby, some of them have been All Blacks, so it's a bit of a mixture. 63% was their tackle percentage last week against the Fijians. 63%, which is not going to get the job done. And the Fijians had 27 clean breaks in that game to the Māori All Blacks 6. So it was pretty one-sided. As I said, the scoreline could have been a lot more. I should also mention that Josh Matavesi is in there on the bench for the Fijians as well, so another good guy to have around. The bookies have got the Māori All Blacks for this one by 7 points. I guess that's home advantage and the fact they haven't changed their lineup. The Fijians, as I said, mixing the things up. To be fair, if the Fijians lost here, pulling back some of their big guns and mixing the squad around, I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world because, you know, they've already shown what they can do. So you guys let me know your thoughts on this game. I think there was 10 changes all up for Fiji. None in terms of the squad for the Māori All Blacks, but a few positional changes. How do you think this one's going to go? Do you think home advantage for the Māori All Blacks is going to be enough to get the win? Do you think those changes will affect the Fijians' cohesion? Or do you think it doesn't matter and it's all kind of a master plan for John McKee to get the boys ready for the World Cup? You guys let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.